Hey guys, it's Feeding Frenzy 91 and I'm bringing you some news on Sony. Michael Pachter has taken a break from downing Nintendo and has turned to downing Sony. Not downing literally like he's after these companies, but it seems that Michael Pachter is talking about the Vita now. I'm going to read you a little segment of what he said. It's not the full segment. I don't want to bore you guys. I'll have the full thing in the description below. But basically, he said about the Vita, the sales are horrible, and his model says the Vita sold 4.2 million that last year. And like for him, 4.2 million is a small number, and he doesn't think they're going to make money or build a business selling around 4 million a year. And he actually thinks that the number may go down, or at least it could go down. And he actually talks about how it's elegant, a bit too elegant. He says shouldn't be that elegant, although I do like how it looks. It's very nice and pretty, and a little too expensive. And he says that the Vita will die a slow and painful death. Now, I partly agree with this, and I know I've been on edge with Michael Pachter recently, but sometimes he's talking sense. It is true, but I don't agree that the Vita will probably die a slow and painful death. I really think PlayStation is too smart for that, or Sony in general, and they will do something to save the Vita. I don't know what it's going to be, but I think they will save it somehow. So, the thing about the Vita is, I agree with him about how it's too expensive, not too elegant. It looks beautiful, okay? It needs to look that way. But it is true, it's too expensive. And when people buy a handheld, I don't care how good it is, you don't want to spend the same amount you spend on a system. Now, the Vita, true, that you're not spending the same amount, but, well, actually you are if you're counting the PS3 as the system. See, people count the PS3 alongside with the Vita. So, the PS3 right now is actually cheaper than the Vita. At least for some models of it. So it's like, why would I buy the Vita, which can play the, like PlayStation level games, basically, not exactly, but close, when I could just buy a PS3 for the almost the same price. See, the problem with the Vita is that PlayStation, in general, when there are three basic problems I'd want to say with the Vita. One, they were too focused on hardcore with a handheld market, and with handheld you don't when you're playing PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo on your TV, you're prepared for a gaming session. You're prepared for like 2 hours of just messing around or something, right? But on a handheld, you only want to be there for a couple minutes at the most. Not well, like more like a half hour, but still, you don't want to be there basically as long as that subway train takes to get to your office, okay? That's how long you want to be on your handheld. You're not getting ready for a session of 2 or 3 hours of gaming, usually. Maybe some kids are, perhaps, but not the adults. And the adults are the ones that the Vita appeals to. So, PlayStation really messed up not making games where you could just jump on and play. And, just mess around like Mario and them. Not literally wanting them to make Mario, but I mean, they didn't make much games where you could just jump on, play, jump off. They made games like Assassin's Creed, I think Liberation was the one on the PS Vita, which once again was good, but it's not a game you just jump on and jump off. They made games like um, Killzone, which once again probably a good game, but can't jump in and jump off. And then, alright, so that's one problem. They didn't make games where you could just jump in, jump off, and it's a handheld. So the next problem is that they, with the Vita, are not getting third party as much as they should. Right now, the Vita and the Wii U are kind of in the same situation with third party. They're not getting as much third party as they should. They are getting third party, but not like what they should. And that's just a major problem because if you're going to be a major handheld, you got to get the third party games from Ubisoft, EA, Activision especially, and you got to get them all on your system or they're not going to appeal to everybody. I mean, the reason the 3DS appeals to all these companies is because it is selling so well. Let's just face it, that's a fact. If the Wii U, I don't care about the Wii U's capabilities. If the Wii U was selling as well as the 3DS, I feel like all those companies that say we can't bring our games on it because it's not powerful enough would find ways to bring their games on it. I mean, I just feel like because let's just say money talks. The 3DS is making money and it's talking to the third parties right now, and they're liking what it has to say. And the third reason, I've already mentioned the price, so I'm not going to mention that in my three main reasons. The third reason is that they simply brought games. Initially, do you remember when the PS Vita first premiered and they showed you playing Uncharted, I think 3 on it? And I was like, Uncharted 3, okay, that's nice. But simply bringing games from their console to their handheld does not appeal to the vast market. Why? Because those people could simply play them on their consoles. See, what 3DS did was it didn't bring its games from the consoles. It brought games that maybe were similar. Like let's say Mario Galaxy came out for um the Wii. The 3DS didn't bring that out for 3DS. Instead, it brought out like Super Mario World and stuff like that. So people are actually buying both games because they're different and because they're not just a copycat of the game on the current system. Because if it was, people wouldn't buy it on the handheld. They prefer to buy it on the system and keep it as that. I mean, why would I buy Uncharted or even any other game that's just a copycat of a game on the system when I could get it and play it on my 40 or 32-inch television? I just wouldn't, because I'd rather get it on the actual system itself. Big TV, good controls and stuff like that. So those are my three basic reasons. And the PSP needs to change them. They need content that's only on the PSP for one. Like how Mario World did not come out on the Wii, even though it could have. It didn't come out. I mean, Super Mario Wii came out, but it was different than Mario World. So they need content that's specifically for the Vita, and they have some of it. Like Assassin's Creed Liberations was a step in the right direction for the hardcores anyway, because it was a different game. It wasn't simply Assassin's Creed 3 on the Vita. It was a completely different Assassin's Creed story. I think it was Liberation, yes. And even Killzone, I think Killzone was Mercenaries, and it was different than the one on the PS4, I think. So at least they're not copying games anymore. They're actually bringing new games that are solely on Vita, and that's what they need to continue if Vita is going to make it. Alright, well that's just me. Michael Pachter, yes, you talk a bunch of foolishness sometimes, but every now and again you talk something that actually makes sense, though I once again do not agree with all of it. I do not think the Vita is done for. And it's strange, because Michael Pachter was the one who predicted that the Vita was going to be so good. I think he said it was going to beat out the 3DS by like 10 times as much units. So it was kind of strange hearing him say this. But it's good, with our predictions, we're not going to be always right. But still, I agree that the Vita is really struggling, and because of these same reasons, basically, the expense and the games, but I disagree that it's going to die a slow and painful death. I think that the Vita will last. I think that if Sony's good at one thing, they're good at bringing a system from its dire need and coming back up, like they did with the PS3. I feel like the Vita could pull a huge PS3 and really sell well. Alright, well, thanks for watching, like, comment, subscribe, and God bless.